Finally! Hey everybody, so I'm going to do a review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. I saw it last night, and I want to say this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so please don't post any spoilers in the comments below. I'm going to do a spoiler review in a couple of days. I'm seeing it one more time just to verify some of the plot points that I wanted to make, and I'm seeing it with a friend of mine. So I'm going to post a spoiler review in a couple of days, and we'll comment and talk about the spoiler parts on that one. But leave this one spoiler free. I don't want people that haven't seen it yet to have it ruined. If people start posting those, I'm going to have to just turn off the comments. But I'm trusting you guys. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It made me feel like a kid again, which it felt so great. I was totally engrossed and ready for more. Like, I didn't really want it to stop. If they had episode 8 playing right afterwards, I would have stayed and just watched that one also. I did not want it to end. So the expectations for this movie were super high. And I got to give huge props to Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and Lawrence Kasdan, because the amount of pressure on them had to have been insane. And for them to be able to pull it off and make it good, I'm blown away. Good job, guys. Good freaking job. So the opening crawl, I'm not going to say anything that's in the opening crawl. I'm just going to say that they did a very good job of kind of telling you what was going on in the past 30 years and get you ready for the first scene of the movie, which is what the opening crawl is supposed to do. And they did a very good job of doing that, because it's the longest period between movies. I mean, it's 30 years between movies. But it set up the movie very well, got you right in the tone that you needed to be, and then the movie just went. Han, Chewie, Leia, all the greats are back. Luke, and they were all on point. I was a little bit concerned that we would see Harrison Ford instead of Han, or we would see Carrie Fisher instead of Leia, but they really came in and owned their characters. As soon as Han Solo came on screen, that was Han Solo. That wasn't Harrison Ford anymore. That was Han Solo. Rey, Finn, and Poe. Awesome. Just awesome. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Jason Isaacs, is it? Oscar Isaac. I always get that wrong. I don't know why. I think I have Jason in my head whenever I think of his face. But they were so good. And John Boyega was, set the tone of the movie. And he did such a great job of setting the tone. Daisy Ridley ruled the movie. She was probably one of the best out of the whole thing. And Oscar Isaacs, he owned that character. That was him. He did a great job. All of them blended into their character. You didn't see the actors. I was totally engrossed in the characters. And same thing with Kylo Ren. My gosh, Adam did such a good job with Kylo Ren. And it was a complicated character. But we'll talk about that in spoilers. Let's see here. I got my notes here. The landscapes were gorgeous. On-site filming is always better than green screen. The cinematography was great. And you get all of those practical effects from being on set. Some of them may be puppets, but whatever. They still look better than some CG characters. But not just for the actor, but for us as the viewer, a practical set with practical effects on location in a real area will always look better than any CGI green screen you will ever do. Ever. So if you have a chance to go on site, if you have a chance to be outside, if you have a chance to have a practical effect, do it. CGI should only be for things that you are not able to do practically because it's impossible. And Abrams knew that. And he did that very well. That's where the prequels lost it. None of the actors could really act off of anything because it was all just green. And you can really tell when they don't see something or when there's no reference. That's why the original trilogy was so good. Everything was textile. It was there. They could immerse themselves into the role, and we could immerse ourselves into the world. When it all looks CG, we can't immerse ourselves because it just looks fake. John Williams' music, always epic. You know, as soon as the Star Wars and the music hits, you know, I'm in. And he had some great scores in there. It's John Williams. The dude almost can't do wrong. It's weird. There was more humor in this movie than I was expecting. And it wasn't distracting. You know, I was afraid if they were going to do humor, it would end up being like Jar Jar Binks, which distracted from everything. But no, it was closer to the original trilogy, but I think funnier. But again, it wasn't distracting. It didn't take away from any of the scenes or any of the scenes before or after it. So I quite liked the humor. I heard some people didn't like it, or they didn't like certain ones as much, but I thought all of the humor was good and didn't distract. It didn't take away from anything. The action sequences blew me away, especially the flight stuff. Some of the flying that they do with the Millennium Falcon and Poe's flying with the X-Wing, crazy. And I saw it in 3D. I'm probably only going to see it once in 3D. I'm not a big 3D guy. I think it's a gimmick, but it looked good in 3D. I mean, you could tell, but I think it would look just as good in 2D. I don't really think the 3D is that big of a deal. It's just a way of charging $5 more for a ticket. So I enjoyed it in 3D. If you like 3D, you'll love it in 3D. If you don't really care, then just see it in 2D. You're not going to miss anything. So that's my spoiler-free review. I think the directing, the acting, the writing, the cinematography, the production, all of that was top-notch. Great. It's awesome. There's some things about the story, but we'll get that into the spoiler review. But even the stuff about the story doesn't take away from how awesome this movie is. I'm going to see it multiple times in the theater. It's one of my favorite movies out of the series. I would put it probably just under Empire Strikes Back. So, well, I put it in the top 3. You know, I like Return of the Jedi just because of nostalgia, but for story-wise and everything else, this was better than Return of the Jedi. But Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back will always be 1 and 2 in my heart. But if you guys like my spoiler-free review, like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you thought without spoilers. And I'll see you in a couple of days on my spoiler review, and we'll get really in-depth in some of the story and character arcs. I'm going to find that really interesting. See what you guys think about that, too. So like, comment, share, tell your friends, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.